Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to That's Football for the start of Super Sunday. We've got, four big games going on today. Chelsea against Arsenal midday, then it's Newcastle, Southampton, Manchester United, Aston Villa at 2, and then we round off at 4:30 with Tottenham against Liverpool. Huge ramifications in the race for top four. These games are massively intriguing. Arsenal going to Chelsea, Liverpool going to Spurs. I fancy 2 away wins today. I don't know what everybody else feels, but I think there could be 2 away wins today, which apparently we haven't had any away wins when the top 6 have played each other so far this season. So, interesting, isn't it? I mean, one that comes to mind there is Arsenal's trip to Old Trafford. They lost. Man City's trip to Liverpool. They lost. So, look, could we break the mould today? We'll have to wait and see, but I'm massively looking forward to it. Huge game. Arsenal and Tottenham to win, says Brooks. It could be an NLD double, according to Brooks. We are doing a United Watchalong. I'll talk to you about the plans for that in a moment. But look, you're all very, very welcome. Hope you're looking forward to it. I certainly am. And I feel that I think it's going to be really, really interesting. Let's have a look at the team news to start off with, though. Chelsea against Arsenal. So Chelsea players are in the tunnel at the moment. Mendy is in goal, which... is Kepa injured again then? Kepa did get injured, didn't he? So Mendy's in goal. Azpilicueta at right back, which I think is always a bit of a weakness. Thiago Silva and Chalobah with Cucurella at left back. No Luke Chilwell. No Ben Chilwell. Loftus-Cheek, Jorginho and Mount as a midfield 3. And then Havertz, Aubameyang and Sterling. I just think that Chelsea side looks vulnerable. I mean, Kovacic is on the bench. Zakaria is on the bench. Gallagher's on the bench. I just don't think Loftus-Cheek, Jorginho and Mount are going to be able to deal with Arsenal's midfield 3. I would have gone different, but Potter is the manager. Koulibaly is on the bench as well. I just think they look a little bit vulnerable, Chelsea, and I fancy Arsenal with Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Odegaard, Partey, Xhaka, Saka, Jesus, Martinelli. How many times this season already have we seen Arsenal be able to put out that 11? And I think that's the key here. I keep saying this every week. I was on TalkSport last night and I did another little bit of a shout out for Arteta. I think regardless of whether he's a manager of a rival or not, I think he's been remarkable what they've done. And I think it's only Arsenal that's making this Premier League title race relevant. Manchester City will eventually win it, I think. But I think also Arsenal are doing a great job. And this is the sort of place that you go to and win. I wouldn't normally feel that Arsenal could go to Stamford Bridge and win, to be honest with you. But they're worthy of where they are. Their form has been fantastic. And yeah, look, as Savage says, Arteta deserves a lot of respect. And I think the ability to... I mean, look, it's very easy to say he's been lucky to be able to... I can't stand people who say he's been very lucky to be able to put out his best 11 most weeks. But it's a skill in itself to find your best 11. And that best 11 for Arsenal has done fantastically well. And and I compare that to Chelsea. They just look very disjointed. I think that's to be understood. I think Potter will spend in January, has to spend in January. And I think Chelsea, I don't think he knows what his best 11 is. He's had a few injuries. Chilwell and Reece James are big losses at fullback. He's playing a back 4. He's playing a back 5. It's difficult. It's difficult for Chelsea. But look at Brighton yesterday. I don't want to talk about Brighton, but Brighton. I mean, that just shows you the foundations that Potter had put in place there. And the new manager is doing great and the players have continued it on. But it's a rebuild at Chelsea, of course it is, and I think it's going to be really intriguing to see how it builds out. They're inconsistent, says Nicola. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way, bottom right-hand corner to do it. Get involved with That's Football, you're all welcome. Just a little bit of a reminder of how the league table looks at the moment. You may not be aware, but let me just pause it on there and put it up on the screen for you. So as you can see, Manchester City have taken the top spot. They do have that game extra from yesterday, 32 points. Arsenal can go back top today, but they'd have to win. A draw would keep Man City top on goal difference. And then Chelsea down in 7th place. Really, probably shouldn't... A loss would be quite damaging to Chelsea today, because I think if Newcastle were to win, that would put them 6 points behind Newcastle. If Spurs were to win, that would put them 8 points behind them. And also, if Manchester United were to win, that would put them 5 points behind them. So it's not... This is what I mean. The connotations of the games today are really, really big. I mean, I think the Tottenham-Liverpool game that we're going to do later on here Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner, and get involved in all the match day action. James Dockery says, what's your top 4 prediction? I think today is just huge in relation to that, because it's big in relation to the title. I think for the title, you'd probably want Arsenal to win. That sounds really weird, but Man City will run away with this if Arsenal start losing games. For the top 4 race, if you're Chelsea, it's a game you can't afford to lose. Liverpool definitely cannot afford to lose. They're 10 points behind Spurs, but there's a 6-point swing there for Liverpool. If they beat Spurs and they've got a game in hand, that 10 points becomes 4 points. But if Spurs beat them, then it becomes 13 points, and then the game in hand only gets it down to 10. So it's a proper 6 points of that, half for Spurs and Liverpool. I fancy 2 away wins. I do. I fancy 2 away wins. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with it. Game in hand for Chelsea as well. Yeah, there is a game in hand, but I don't think Man United have got a game in hand. I don't want the game in hand. I said this back when the games got postponed because of the Queen's passing, that you don't want games in hand because this season is so relentless. I mean, we were talking about this on the United Stand the other day, that we've got 2 extra games to play in the Europa League now. We've got 2 games outstanding against Crystal Palace and Leeds. And from January, there's no spare week. There's no spare week to play those games at the moment. Now, there will be if we get knocked out the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup or the Europa League. We'll have some spare midweeks. But at the moment, if you did well in all the trophies, there's no spare midweeks, which means Man United are going to play 3 games a week from January to May. And that's why you don't want your games in hand. I think the teams that have played their games, whether it's lucky or not, it's a good thing. Chelsea-Arsenal draw is the best outcome for us, says Lucas. Yeah, I think from Manchester United's point of view, definitely. Let's just get your thoughts on the result, by the way. The game is about to start very soon, but just want to get your thoughts. Chelsea win, draw, or Arsenal win. I'm interested to see how the poll works on this today, because I think it's a tough one to call. I think even Arsenal fans will be thinking that. It's on BT Sports, this match, so check it out. And please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. You're very welcome on That's Football. We've got some big things to reveal for you next week as well, ahead of the World Cup. We're only 200 away from 802,000 subscribers, by the way, so I will update that in a moment if we hit 802,000 subscribers. But regardless of the World Cup, we've got some big things to reveal on that. Watchalongs throughout the World Cup. But we've also got a big day today. So how's it going to run out today? Well, we're kicking off literally in a minute's time. It's Chelsea against Arsenal. Huge game in the Premier League. At 1 o'clock, I will basically at half-time, I'm going to shift over to the United Stand. I'll keep the game on, but I've got to talk about the team news ahead of Manchester United's game at 2 o'clock. So we'll just switch over to there if you want to do that. And then after that, I'll switch back to That's Football for Southampton, Tottenham against Liverpool. So it's That's Football, United Stand, That's Football. If you want to stay on the journey, I'll talk you all through it. But we're basically going to be watching all of this game, all of the United game, keeping an eye on the Newcastle game, and as well the Liverpool-Southampton game. So sit back and chill. Don't do any jobs today. You can't cut the grass. You can't wash the car. You can't clear out the loft. You've got to watch football. That's what it's all about. Joshua Bowater says, I've just joined Mark. Any early whispers on Bruno's replacement for Day? I've not heard anything, Joshua. We'll keep an eye on that. And Mark, would you say I need to rule out a top 6 finish for Wolves? Says Matthew Paul. I don't like to write anybody off, Matthew, but I'd say Wolves are pushing their luck if they think they're going to get top 6 this year. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. 6 hours of football, says Mark. There's some big games around Europe as well. I think Inter are playing Juve, although Juve have fell off. PSV are playing Ajax, if you're interested in that. I'm not really anymore. We've took all their good stuff. Don't tell them that. And yeah, but this is what it's all about. Best league in the world, and we've just kicked off with Mason Mount. It's Chelsea against Arsenal. I'm massively excited about these. Really excited about these games today. Roma Lazio as well, says Ariam. There's loads to keep your eye on. But it's Arsenal on the attack here straight away with Martinelli down the left-hand side. And just look, I think in times gone by, Stamford Bridge, Arsenal against Chelsea, you'd fancy Chelsea. The pattern of the Premier League has changed. It has changed. There is a different way of this league at the moment, and Arsenal are the favourites. That's what it's all about. Did you watch WWE last night? I haven't watched it for years, Vikash. Lesnide says, fasten your seatbelts. This is going to be a hell of a ride. I've got to stretch a lot today because 6 hours of sitting on your backside's not great. Side netting there from a flicked header by Gabriel. Never going to cause Mendy any problems from a long throw in, but yeah. And of course, what we haven't factored in, of course, today, and I was speaking about this on Talk Sport last night, don't forget, is that we had some, pretty... I don't know. I'm going to talk about it on the Ben Foster show tomorrow morning. Did the referees get most of the decisions right yesterday? There was inconsistency. My big thing, and maybe somebody will mention this at some point, maybe someone will clip this, but the De Bruyne penalty yesterday is a disgrace. It's an absolute outrage. And you know why? I've got the proof. That is a soft penalty that gets given, and yet Manchester United, Sancho, a few weeks ago, who was that against? Was it Newcastle at home? When we ended up drawing a game, worst tackle on Sancho doesn't get given. And it's those sort of inconsistencies that change the game for people. The same thing that Brighton won yesterday anyway, but that Lewis Dunk handball is no worse than Emerson Tom for Spurs a few weeks ago, not given. They're the inconsistencies that, we don't want to be seeing in matches today. So we want to just see consistency. So if that De Bruyne foul is now a foul, and it happens to Arsenal or Chelsea today, then it's got to be given. If there is a handball like Lewis Dunk's today, it has to be given. All we want is consistency. That is what we want. It's the inconsistency that winds people up. I don't know why the Premier League and the referees don't understand that. Mark, you just contradicted yourself. I don't know how I can contradicted myself, Jonathan. I said it very, very clearly. I think you're just a bit thick. Anyway, here's Arsenal on the attack with Odegaard. They've started off very much on the front foot. It's Saka up against Cucurella, and he's given the foul for a bit of a body check. He wants him to be booked. Michael Oliver's walking. Oh, Michael Oliver's the ref. I'm a City fan, and that penalty was disgraceful, says Duke. You know what? I've got to say, if I was a City fan, I'd want a penalty. I wanted a penalty for what happened to Sancho as well. And that was the softest penalty given for City, but to be honest, they were dominant even with 10 men. Oh yeah, they deserved to win, Binny. That's why I said last night that the league would be better off without Man City in it in their open checkbook. Mark, England versus India World Cup watch-along. Matthew, we're not even played the World Cup yet, and I don't think India are in it, so... Be miraculous if I did an England versus India World Cup watch-along, to be honest. I don't know what you're talking about. It had an element of dive about it, Paula. The referee was shocking. Anyway, this is a good free kick position for Arsenal to whip a cross in here. Plays it to the edge of the box. Cucurella reads it. Chelsea have done nothing so far. Of course, we've got the subtext of Aubameyang. If the Fulham penalty was given, then so should Kevin De Bruyne's, says Sumo. Oh, mate, what are you talking about? Completely different. Completely different. Oh, people are talking about cricket. Yeah, you may as well be talking another language. I ain't watching the cricket. No way, Pedro. I thought the Cancelo red card, to be honest, was... I'd have been happy with just a penalty in that situation, And there's your bias for you. I think Man City deserved to beat Fulham, and I thought the Cancelo thing technically was a red, but it didn't feel like a red card to me. It felt like a stupid penalty where he body checked him. It didn't feel like it should have been a red as well, but I get the penalty. He's took him out in the box. I think you can understand. I'd want a penalty, but I thought the red card was a bit of a step too far. I don't like cricket. No. I hate it. No, I don't mind cricket, actually. I like watching the Ashes. I'm not a big fan of, I haven't watched the World Cup. That's the honest answer. Snooker watch along from 1 o'clock. Yeah, I'm gonna stop all my plans to watch 6 hours of really good Premier League football to watch snooker. I like snooker, but there's a limit. I'm going to watch the UK Championship in York, though. I do like that tournament. I think that's next week, isn't it? Anyway, Arsenal dominant here in the first 5 minutes. I don't know whether we can get the stats up on the screen. I do actually know we can, because I'm going to. But they've started off much the better side here. Let's have a look at those match stats on the screen. As you can see, well over 60% possession for Arsenal away to Chelsea. I mean, if you're an Arsenal fan, is that not an indicator of how you have grown under Mikel Arteta, that you are coming here and dominating them? And this is what Manchester United did in the first half an hour at Stamford Bridge. Mark Goldbridge, that's Cricket Channel coming soon, says Matthew. I will do anything for views, but I won't do that. Free kick for Arsenal. Another one to whip in. But yeah, look, Chelsea fans, talk to me. Talk to me, Goose. It's dominant from Arsenal so far. Headed away, edge of the box. Ben White shoots over the bar. O'Sullivan or Trump? Don't like Trump, so I'd want O'Sullivan to win that. I don't dislike the guy personally. I mean, someone says he's a Man United fan. Oh yeah, because I get on with every Man United fan. I must like him. No, I just don't. I find Trump a bit irritating, to be honest. My favourite snooker players would be O'Sullivan, Selby, Robertson, Wilson. Yeah, they're probably my 4 favourites. Oh, I do like Mark Williams as well and Higgins, but they're old school. Thanks everyone for tuning in, by the way. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, big day of football ahead of us. Arsenal have started off dominant here. And have you seen the keeper's red card yesterday during the MLS final and Bale's goal? No, James. I'm more likely to watch a pub team playing down the road than I am the MLS. And that's not taking the mickey out of the MLS, but it's the truth. Right, Chelsea with their first attack here. Sterling into Havertz. They've cut it back. What a prat! What is he on about there? That irritates me, and I'm not even a Chelsea fan. It's that level of football brain that defies logic. Watch this back. Havertz in down the right-hand side. He's got all the time in the world. He's Louis Armstrong. He's got all the time in the world. He's cut back. They're both cutbacks. What's in his head? What is in his head there? What is he doing there? It's both cutbacks. Madness. Absolute that's not football IQ. That's like, I'm going to get my head down and put a cross into this box. That's not Premier League standard. That's bloody percentage football. I'm going to put it in the danger area. Stick your head in the air, open your eyes, and look at the cutbacks. I can't believe that level of football winds me up. Whether it's Martinelli or Havertz, it winds me up. Champions in the making, says Zane Miassi. 3-1 to Arsenal. You've had a good start, but that could have been a big chance for Chelsea there. Not going to lie. He's a funny player, Havertz, isn't he? And not in the way that he makes me laugh. He's a talent, but there's something missing, isn't there? There's something missing somewhere. Leeds played very well yesterday, Big. Played very well. I like that Nonto, and I like Somerville. They've got some really good young players. Can they keep hold of them? How long? And I think they'll do all right, Leeds. Nice ball in to Ben White. Ooh, I tell you what, it wasn't bad. It was sort of a cross shot. And Atin says, how is Loftus-Cheek playing for Chelsea over Kovacic? I don't know. I genuinely, I just don't know. I can't answer that. I wish I could, but I can't. I just don't know. Loads of football to watch today, by the way. We will be at 2 o'clock on the United stand. Villa against Man United, Emery's first game. We'll also have the Southampton-Newcastle game on the screen as well. So lots to keep you up with. And then we finish off with Spurs against Liverpool. It's going to be very... There's lots to watch. There's lots to talk about. It's going to be probably quite tiring, but hopefully... It's almost like my bloody charity stream. But... No, hopefully we'll get some good moments. Chelsea would have been 3-0 up by now if Timo was up front and the goal about 100 foot tall and wide, says Connor. Okay, just to let you know the percentages, 48% of you went with an Arsenal win, 28% of you went with a Chelsea win, and 24% of you went with a draw. I would agree. I've gone with an Arsenal win in this game as well. So far, I think they've started the game better. Cross comes in from Chelsea, headed away. Cucurella, he's still in the box. Little dink, not very good. Not very good. Mark, when will admit Sancho is a flop and Martinelli is better, says Zayn Miasi? It's not on my agenda. Would you rather have Odegaard or Bruno, says Fusen? I like Odegaard. I think Ten Hag would rather have Odegaard, and the reason is he's more of a controller. Bruno is, he likes those passes, the Hollywood passes, whatever you want to call him. He likes to do things quickly, whereas I think Odegaard's more measured, and I think Ten Hag, in his quest for 70% possession, would prefer that. Do you think Cancelo deserved the red card, Mark, says Garnacho the GOAT? I think technically it is a red card, but I felt a penalty was enough. You've got to give something to Fulham in that situation. He's running through, he's one-on-one, and he gets body checked. So I think it has to be a penalty. I don't think people saying it's not a penalty are right. I think you've got to give something, but I don't think the red card. I know technically it's right, but it didn't look. It just didn't look. It's the same as what Cucurella did to Saka about 5 minutes ago. You give the free kick, you move on. Because he's the last man, maybe give him a yellow card as well, but I don't think it's stupid by Cancelo and he's got to pay the price for it, but I felt it was a bit soft to get a red card, but technically they can hide behind it, and this is the problem. You'll get Monday morning Sky Sports, Dermot, I back the referees no matter what, Gallagher saying, he's got that right. For me, he's got that right. But I felt it was a bit, it didn't feel right. Need Chelsea to do a job today. Come on, City, says MCFC Trey. They've started off well, Arsenal. Skeptical says it's going to be 8-0 to Chelsea. I tell you what, if it's 8-0 to Chelsea, I'm sure we'll all give you a tenner. It's definitely not going to happen. Cross comes in. Ben White's getting I'll tell you what, Ben White's got to go to the World Cup as well. I mean, we were speaking about James Maddison yesterday on Talk Sport. I mean, he's got to go to the World Cup, but I think Ben White's got to go. And the funny thing is, Ben White will probably go because of the injuries at right back to Reece James, but he should be going anyway. It annoys me that Southgate might have a get out of jail card there to say, yeah, come on, Ben, but the reality is he should be going anyway. In my opinion, he should be going anyway. But good start by Arsenal, but it has settled down a bit now. They had a very good first 5 minutes, Arsenal, but it has settled down now. Chelsea starting to get back into it. We'll see the stats when they go around. That's a live stat. That's a live table there. So Arsenal have only got 32 points because they're drawing at the moment. High probability United will be in the top 4 today, says Binny. I think it's a really tough game for Man United against Villa. They've had a hot week off. They've got a new manager. It's at Villa Park. I think it's going to be a tough game for United. No Bruno as well. I think there'll be interest around the team selections. Anyone think Jesus is a bit overrated this season, says Fusen? I think he's fundamental to Arsenal. I know a lot of people talk about the fact that he hasn't scored a goal for quite a while, Jesus, but he wasn't a prolific goal scorer for Man City. I think people thought because he had a good start, he was going to go and score 40 goals for Arsenal. I don't think that's what he's there to do. I think I think Arsenal have a wide selection of goal scorers. They've got goal scorers from the midfield. Obviously got Martinelli and Saka. Odegaard can chip in as well. I think Jesus is more of a system player. And I think Arsenal are probably adapting more of the style that Pep did when he had Jesus, where your number 9 doesn't necessarily score you loads of goals, but is fundamental to the system. Yeah. Ben White probably won't go to the World Cup. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Best one club player outside of United, says Glenn Tracy. Adams, John Terry and Gerrard. Best one club player outside of United, says Glenn Tracy. Matt Letitia. Hoping for a draw in this game and a United win, says Sean Atwood. Cross comes in, back post. That's a goal kick. Mark, do you think we'll ever see a female manager in the Premier League, says Joel? I don't see any reason why not. And Serpent says, how good is Denmark going to be in the World Cup? I'd love to see Denmark do well. Obviously, we've got Eriksson there, but I quite like Denmark. I thought they were very, very impressive in the Euros, and hopefully they will be again. Yeah. Gerrard was not a one-man club, says Aaron. Struggling to see what your angle is there. We're not counting the MLS, are we? If Arsenal wins the league this season, I feel it is unfair to Man City. I am a United fan, but I prefer City to win the Premier League, and I still hope Man United can make a miracle and win the league, says Luke. Shot over the bar there from Martinelli. Martinelli! Arteta is not female, Ronan. I don't know what you're on about. Leicester have done very well, Nikolai. Very well indeed. So we've had 17 minutes here. It was a good 5 minutes from Arsenal. They are still on top, but I feel that Chelsea have sort of stabilised a bit. But they're definitely the underdogs here. No doubt about it. I've played the game, says El Ratio. Yeah, I've got a sense of nervousness about these games today, I've got to be honest. Ronaldo doesn't press from the front, Mark, says Fahad. And the relevance of that in this London derby? Newcastle are going to finish above Manchester United, says Sam. I do think that Newcastle deserve a lot of praise. They've not got European football, which will keep them fresh in the second half of the season. They can spend in January, obviously. They've been doing really well without Isaac and St Maximum. I don't think there's any reason to think that Newcastle are going to stop being a threat to the top four. I think it'd be a big achievement for them to do it. They'd be ahead of schedule to do it. But I tell you what, the minute they get Champions League football, it's bye-bye to another Champions League spot. Say what you want, but the cold, harsh facts are that as soon as Man City got the Champions League spot with all that money, they've never been out, have they? Man City have never been outside the top four since they got top four. And if Newcastle get top four, that's goodbye to another spot. People don't want to talk about it like that, the Gary Linekers of this world. They don't want to talk about it like that. But the fact is, as soon as Newcastle get top four, that means there's only 2 spots available because those billionaire clubs are going to get it and they're going to keep it. Hi mate, love your videos. Your FIFA videos are great. Wanted to say thanks and buy your pint, maybe watch along a Celtic game. We play good stuff, says VDS. Thank you very much. Havertz is on the break here. He's already misplaced one final ball and that's a bit better. Mason Mount's shot is blocked. Chelsea very much looking to counter here. Free kick on the halfway line here. Loftus-Cheek robbed of the ball. And I'm going to tweet something here. I don't rate this Loftus-Cheek, to be honest with you. This Chelsea side looks very disjointed. Every time I've watched them this season, I felt that even when they've been doing well, I thought the results against AC Milan in the Champions League were fantastic, but they just don't seem to have much of an identity, Chelsea, at the moment, which is absolutely fine when you've got a brand new manager, new owners, but they feel a bit disjointed. I think it's going to take a bit of time to build a team that's got lots of good players, but they just don't seem in the rhythm. You see them at City versus Man United score yesterday. Love it, says MCFC Trade. Yeah, got battered. Absolutely battered. Yeah. Where's Conor Gallagher? Says Mike. I'm not going to read your surname. Random Dud says we've got a lot of injuries. I accept that. You're a much better team with people like Reece James in it, Kante. I mean, Kante's injuries are becoming a problem, aren't they? But I still think you're a bit disjointed. I think Chelsea have been searching for a Havertz is crap. He's just fell over on the ball. I think Chelsea have been searching. I mean, you've tried Lukaku. I think Chelsea have been searching for a striker for many years, and that there seems to be a bit of a discord between that. But it's 0-0 here at the moment. I don't think Chelsea can afford to concede the first goal. Kovacic is only just back from an injury, says Darren G. Thank you. Was Potter's appointment a mistake, says Jim Waits? No, I don't think. I like Potter. I was surprised he got this job. I really thought he'd go somewhere like Aston Villa next, but I mean, I'm excited to see what he can do. I know the Chelsea dressing room really, really rate him, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's very hard to come into a club a month into the season and turn things around as well. What do you want for Christmas, Mark, says Jack? I don't really know. There's a book I want. That's about it. Is Lopetegui the Wolves manager, William? I'd heard he'd been appointed. Another Spanish manager coming into the Prem. I don't know why Zakaria didn't start, Brandon. I do like him, but he's obviously he's chosen Jorginho and Loftus-Cheek above them. I'm not going to tell you what book I want because someone will have read it and they'll just put a spoiler in it. So I've given up on Fantasy Premier League Awoken. Yeah. I couldn't log in a couple of weeks ago, and then when I did log in, I was like, oh, I'd lost a load of points, and I've still got Haaland captain, so. Nice ball out to Cucurella. Ben White will get that, puts it out for a throw. A chance a few games at the moment, or a game a few chances. Rufus says, who's dominating? I just joined. Pretty 50-50 at the moment. Look at the stats. I mean, to be fair, 63% possession is not 50-50, but Chelsea are sort of counter-attacking here against Arsenal. Havertz is awful, says Rohan. I think there's 2 or 3 players in that Chelsea side that are awful. I don't think Havertz is at the races. I don't think Loftus-Cheek is at the races. And I think that Azpilicueta's probably passed it a little bit as well. And then on top of that, there's not really much of a rhythm to Chelsea. Alejandro says, why do United fans blame Ronaldo for everything, Mark? And Jack says, Farnborough knocked out Sutton yesterday. Limbs. There we go, Jack. I presume it was the FA Cup yesterday. Koulibaly's on the bench, Zach. He's back on the bench. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. You're all very, very welcome. It's still 0-0 here, but Chelsea got a chance to put a free kick in. Ronaldo starts for Manchester United, if there was any doubt about that. Starting to get a little bit of team news. I'll just keep you updated, but Ronaldo starts for Manchester United. I'll put a tweet out about that. I've had a super chat here from Zinedine, who says, the fact that Ronaldo doesn't start the games in the beginning of the season make him fresh and not tired to play 4 games in a row. Jesus is better than Nunez, says Brody. It's not really a conversation I want to have. I think Jesus suits Arsenal. I think if Arsenal hadn't got Jesus, they wouldn't have said no to Nunez. I keep saying this. I would have took Nunez at Manchester United and been over the moon. I've seen enough of him to realise that he's got the raw traits. And I agree with what Klopp said, that he's very happy with him and he's got a lot of potential. Can you buy me FM23, says Ryan. I've been setting up my Football Manager 23 today for my first stream on Tuesday. Oh, Aubameyang, a little bit late there. Yellow card, I think, on White. Xhaka's asking for a little bit more. Should be a red. They want a red. Aubameyang's late on Ben White. He is hurt. It's a yellow. Let's have a look. Could be a red, that. No, he catches his toe. No, not for me. I think he just catches his toe. Not a red for me. He just catches him. I don't think they'll review it. And Ben White's up okay. Yeah. He's absolutely fine. I think he just caught him late on his toe. I think if he caught his ankle, you might be looking at something else. But I think the yellow's about right there. Arteta's a drama queen, says Karen. Mate, it's right in front of him. If Goldbridge is in charge, I'm like losing my crap because he might influence the ref. Kieran says it was barely a yellow anyway. Oh, nothing like hearing the family eating Sunday roast and knowing that you're not having yours for hours, isn't there? Sack the juggler. Right. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. This first half has flown by. And we're only 70 subscribers away from 802,000. So please subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. I'm thinking about food. Bottom right-hand corner. Can anyone compete with Man City for the Premier League? That's in the bottom corner. Yellow card for Aubameyang there. These stats carousel we have, by the way, we've been using them for a few weeks now, but you might be new. So if anyone gets a yellow card like Aubameyang, it will show on their shoulder. If they score a goal, it shows on their left shoulder. If anyone gets substituted, the sub will come on, but they'll have a red arrow underneath their number. So as you can see there, it is 0-0. Aubameyang's the only player that's been booked so far. Anyone saying Nunez is awful doesn't know or understand football, says Nick. Look, I'll say this. I was ahead of the game with Arteta. I had Arsenal fans telling me to stick my nose out of their club. They were printing off T-shirts, they were doing videos, they were telling everyone that Arteta's crap, and those people look idiots, obviously, and they've had to turn around. Piers Morgan's one of them. I, and a few of you, were saying, I can see what he's doing. I don't know if it's going to work, but I can see what he's doing, and he has to be given the time to do it. Now look at them. I will say the same about Nunez. Nunez will be a success. Nunez will be one of the best strikers in the Premier League. He will be a success. I think it's going to take time, but some people just think that things have to be instantaneous. And the great thing about what Arteta's done is that he's shown that, you can have instant success. You can have the people like Haaland comes in, world class, etc. But you can also have people who, and it's the same in life, people can take a bit of time to grow. I don't know if this issue has happened to you on FIFA, but there is a broken thing where they put the striker in goal. I know the game is broken for you, says Nathan. I haven't seen that yet. I've seen the faceless attacker come on as a sub. Good tackle by Thiago Silva there. And he's given a foul. Bit early for a roast. I haven't had breakfast, says Max. Oh, I've had early dinner. I've had early lunch at 12:30. We have Christmas dinner at 9 a.m. Try it this year at Christmas. Have your breakfast in the morning. Silva got all of the ball there, says Lil. Would you start Garnacho today, Mark? Says Ronnie. I'd imagine if Ronaldo's starting, he's not starting. The interesting thing is, is Anthony, Sancho or Martial going to be involved? What do you think can be truly done about sports washing in football? As far as I can see, it's just people trying to brush it under the carpet, says Christopher. I don't know what you can do, mate, because unfortunately, people in football predominantly don't have a reputation for being moral crusaders. They're money people. The Premier League's about money. That's what it was set up about. And as long as they're getting a slice of the cake, I don't think they'll do anything about it. I don't think Garnacho will start, no. Good play by Havertz down the left-hand side. Wins a corner. I think Chelsea will be relatively happy with what's happened. The first 5 minutes, they were struggling, but they have sort of worked their way back in here. My predicted front three for United, James. I think Rashford will play off the left, Ronaldo through the middle, and then off the right, I would hope that Anthony's back or Sancho's back. That's what I would hope. Yeah. Corner for Chelsea here. They are quite good at corners. Mason Mount surveys the scene in front of him. He caresses the ball into the box. And it's headed over the bar by Thiago of Silva. 0-0. Who's better, Mount or Smith Rowe, says George? I mean, what's happened to Smith Rowe? Completely forgotten about him. Has he been injured or is he... I know he's still at Arsenal, but not on the bench, so he must be injured. But I've completely forgotten about Smith Rowe this season. Yeah, he's injured. He's been injured for ages. He's a good player, but he's not been part of Arsenal's season so far, has he? He's had surgery, says why. Chelsea into the box. Havertz, not a great cross. I mean, Havertz, if he could cross, been quite involved so far. Manchester United haven't lost to Aston Villa since 1995 at home, you know. James says, what's your score predictions for all the games today, Mark? Good question, to which I will answer it as quicker as I can. I think Arsenal will win this game. Hard to do a score prediction, but I think Arsenal will end up winning. I think Newcastle will beat Southampton. I think Man United will draw at Aston Villa, and I think Liverpool will beat Spurs. So I'm going for 3 away wins, and I'm not going for a home win at all. Who you want to win? Because if the Blues win, it hurts United's top 4. But if Arsenal win, that's rivals close to the title. I don't want City to win it, to be honest, says Nathan Allen. I think Smith Rowe's had surgery, says Tumbleweed. We've got a corner for Arsenal here. I think the best result for a United fan is a draw in the Spurs game and the Liverpool game and this game as well. I think 2 draws and a Southampton win. That's the best, and obviously a United win. Arsenal are going to collect this here with Saka again. Odegaard. Cross comes in by Saka. It's not a bad one, but it will go out for a goal kick. So therefore, it is a bad one. I am doing Liverpool versus Tottenham Max on this channel. So what's happening is a bit of swapping and changing, but stay with me if you want to. So first half of Arsenal trip to Chelsea is on That's Football. At half time, I'm going over to United Stand for the team news, but I'll keep Arsenal Chelsea on. Then when that finishes, I'll be on the United Stand anyway. 2 o'clock, it's Newcastle Southampton United Villa. We'll be covering those. And then I'll do my match reaction, player ratings, and then I'll come back over to here for the kickoff of Tottenham against Liverpool at 4:30. So here, half-time to United stand, but keep watching this game. Then back here for That's Football for that as well. So just move over, stay in the chat. It's a lot of football. We're doing a lot today, but the thing is, you can say you're doing a lot, but realistically, I'd watch all these games anyway. So I think a lot of people would as well. Bounty getting removed from celebrations is a joke, Josh. I'm disgusted. I'm not buying any celebrations this year. Boycott celebrations. And when you bring back Bounty, bring back Topic as well. Subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Thanks everyone for tuning in. What about the West Ham game, says Jackie. I'm going to have to get rid of you, Jackie, because your surname is racist. So you're gone. I don't want to read your comment and accidentally say your second name. Yeah, I didn't realise West Ham were playing. Apologies to West Ham. I had no idea that you're playing Crystal Palace at 2 o'clock, so we will keep you updated on that as well. No problem. The Blob's going to watch it all with us. Josh has got a hangover. I didn't even have a drink last night. And I woke up this morning and I thought, inadvertently, I didn't even have a drink last night. And I normally do on a Saturday night. To be honest, I've not been feeling that great for weeks. I do think I had COVID again, and my energy levels have been crap ever since. We're only 10 subscribers away from 802,000, so please do subscribe to the channel. Bottom right-hand corner, you're very welcome. Bounty's the thing you either love or hate, says Manzo. I love Bounty. It's like pineapple on pizza, I suppose, isn't it? So, 37 minutes gone. Chelsea still feel to me like they're the underdogs. And I think if Arsenal score the first goal, it's problem. It's problem time for Chelsea. Very, very defensive display. Very counter-attacking. I think Chelsea have got a lot of work to do, which I think many people would expect, with a new manager, a bit of disruption, new owners as well. Altar says, I hope United get a win today. It'd be a massive win for United. I know you just can't take Villa's form into account when they're playing with a new manager. Matty says, who do you think would replace Klopp if they decide to switch managers this summer? That's a great question. Who would replace Klopp if he was to leave Liverpool? I mean, personally, I do think that Ten Hag would have been under consideration if Klopp had left or Pep had left. I think they'd interview him. I always said that. But obviously, he's not available. Nagelsmann, would you look at someone like that? There's not an obvious candidate to come in and take that job. And what I mean is, there's not a massive hipster manager in Europe that everyone's like, he's going to be the next big thing. I think Ten Hag was, and he's obviously gone to United. Nagelsmann was, and he went to Bayern. I mean, there are some good managers out there, but they're risk managers. I mean, like the Sporting Lisbon manager's got a good reputation. Zidane's going to be the French manager. Big up, Mark. Villa game will be tough. I think we win 2-1, says EJ. Tuchel, Liverpool. I don't know. I don't fancy that. Pochettino again. No. I think Liverpool would want to go for the next Klopp. I don't think they want to go for an ex-Chelsea or Spurs manager who've both failed at PSG. He had any info on the starting 11, says Tumbleweed. I know Ronaldo's starting. Might have something else for you. I mean, we're only 20 minutes away from the team news coming out now. Donny and Garnacho start. I'm having a quick look, see if I've got anything. Let me just message here. I know Ronaldo is starting. What about Luis Enrique after the World Cup? Ah, he'd be a good one, TH. Yeah, he would be a good one. Another yellow card here. Cucurella. I think it was inevitable up against Saka, wasn't it? Donny starts for Manchester United as well. That's the latest news. Just doing a bit of checking here. Oh no, Saka got booked for a foul on Cucurella. Sorry, I very stereotypical of me there. I saw the yellow card. I saw Saka walking away and then Cucurella's face, and I thought that will be Cucurella. It's actually a foul by Saka on Cucurella. So you'll see a yellow card up against him in a moment. I have a feeling that Donny's starting and Garnacho. So looks like it might be the same team from Thursday. So no freshening up. No freshening up at all there. Thanks everyone who subscribed, by the way. I think we've hit 802,000 subscribers. Let me just change that. But we've got 3 minutes to go to half time here. And yeah, it's been a bit of a midday. I always say this, even with the Saturday games, when you have a big game on a lunchtime kickoff, it does tend to be a bit of a stalemate. There's got to be some. That's one for the boffins. There's got to be some sort of experiment that could be done. There's 30 years of Premier League football to run stats on top six when they kick off at lunchtime. Come on, do it. That's what I say. Interesting. Right, I've just changed the subscribers there. That's great. Oh, my thing's gone now. Do you think stadiums like this need roofs? Like, is a must because I will remove the issue of the rain, says Nathan. Nathan, nothing wrong with rain in football. There's nothing wrong with a bit of rain. You got to. I like a top six match like Vikas. I think a top six match on a Sunday at 4 o'clock. Perfect. I'm not a big fan of the 12:30 kickoff or the 2 o'clock kickoff. I think it can be a bit odd. 4:30 or 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon. That's what you want. There's talk that Anthony and Martial are not fit. That's two separate players, by the way. I know his name's Anthony Martial, but I'm referring to Anthony of Brazil and Martial of France. No, I love a bit of rain. I think anybody who's played football, first minute you go out and start playing, it's a little bit frustrating. But yeah, I love a bit of the rain. Can't knock a bit of rain. Nice big slide tackle. You can't knock it. It's cleared away. I'm doing Liverpool versus Spurs on this channel at 4:30. Yes. Yeah, I'll explain to you what's going on. Only 1 minute added on here. It's a busy day. And we could do with some big action. Van der Beek is starting for Manchester United. Interesting. Exciting. And Arsenal into the box. Martinelli keeps it on. Wins. Corner, is it a corner? It's a corner, yeah. It's a bit early for that, isn't it, Raoul? So, yeah, corner here for Arsenal. Right on half-time. Bit of a dull game. And that's half time. We stopped the clock. It's half time. It's not Manchester United. It's Chelsea versus Arsenal. It's half time. A bit of a snore fest, really. Arsenal 61% possession, 7 shots, but nothing on target. All very speculative. I think I'd almost argue that Chelsea on the break have been a little bit more expansive, but yeah, just not very good for Manchester United. That not very good, and I feel that. Sorry, not Manchester United. From Chelsea, I have sympathy for Chelsea. I think they're going through transition at the moment, of course, but yeah, it's not been that great from Arsenal in relation to chance creation. I think Arteta at half time will certainly be saying, we can go and win this game, and we should be doing more with the possession we've got. I mean, as I say, away from home with that amount of possession, you'd expect to be creating clear-cut chances, which therefore means that Chelsea are defending quite well. But I do think Chelsea have got to change it up in the second half. I think they've got players there. In Florida, Arsenal started 7 a.m. and United's at 9 a.m, says Ian. Chelsea so boring, parking the bus at their own stadium, says Flaming. It's also, let's be honest, I mean, Arsenal, very good team. I still think some people think Arsenal are coming to town. Let's not respect them. You've got to respect Arsenal. They're a very good team. I said before the game, that Chelsea lineup for me looks a little bit disjointed. The Arsenal lineup is very consistent, and that's the team that's got them top of the league. So, look, fair play to Arsenal. They are where they deserve to be. But I'd say for Chelsea, Loftus-Cheek, Havertz, is there any game changers on the bench there? Certainly, I think you could bring Kovacic on in the second half. He played well against United when he brought him on after half an hour. I think that's the sort of change I would look to be making, to be honest with you, there, definitely. Yeah. Okay, let me explain what's going to happen. I'm still watching Chelsea versus Arsenal, but I'm going over to the United stand to watch the second half because the team news for United will be coming in, and then we're staying on the United stand till 4 o'clock because we've got United Villa, and obviously we'll be keeping an eye on Newcastle's game as well. And then we're back on here for Liverpool trip to Spurs at 4:30. So nothing's really going to happen apart from a short interlude while I just change everything over, and I'll be live on the United stand for the second half and the United team news in a couple of minutes. I will push you over there anyway if you don't know your way, but I'll see you there in a minute or two.